Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Best Movie Year Ever. And this book from Brian Raftery is How 1999 Blew Up the Big Screen. And this book takes a look at this particular year in cinema, which had a very eclectic and diverse group of films that came in and made quite an impact. Of course, you had Phantom Menace, which was by far the biggest film at the box office. But you had things like The Sixth Sense. You had American Beauty, which swept up the Academy Awards. You had Fight Club. You had The Matrix. You had all of these films, the indies from like Office Space and Election and Boys Don't Cry. And each of these, like Rushmore, and how this particular book captures that diversity and the impact of this year in cinema. And it isn't just a facts, shoving facts down your throat kind of book. It incorporates anecdotes. It incorporates these stories from these filmmakers, from these creators. You hear from Wes Anderson, you hear from David O. Russell, you hear from Alexander Payne, and all of these filmmakers and their own experiences trying to make these films. You get a broader sense of what the landscape was like. Harry Knowles and that the birth of like internet fandom, which is so just permeating everything at this point in 2023, but in 1999 was new. It was something that was growing, and Phantom Menace was like the big jumping off point for that. They even have allusions to that in Fanboys and incorporating that into that film. You have a book like this that balances anecdotes and information and context to create an engaging and interesting look at a year in cinema. It's a little scattered, it's a little all over the place at times, but each chapter delves deep into a particular film, and not just the film itself, not the narrative, not the making of, but also the context and what made it so impactful and why it's still talked about today. And you have each chapter broken up into different kinds of films. You have one chapter that tackles Star Wars and Galaxy Quest and The Iron Giant. You have other chapters that tackle one film at a time, like a Magnolia or something like Fight Club. And seeing how deeply these films permeated pop culture, the film world, and everything in between. And this particular book is an essential read for anybody who's super into film. It's hard to deny that this is an engaging and intriguing journey. And I appreciate my friend Griff, who you'll be seeing quite often coming up on Welcome to the Wasteland for my journey through John Ford. But he bought me this book, knows me well, and this was an engaging and thoughtful peek into 1 year in the 100+ years of cinema, and how much this made an impact. And this book, Raftery is able to capture it and really flesh out the significance of this year in cinema, and it's definitely worth your time. But those are my thoughts on Best Movie Year Ever. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some books. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.